Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Radio Free QuickBooks. It is 7:30 Eastern. I'm on the exact same time zone as Stacy and Don, which is awesome because I'm in New York City for the New York Accounting Technology Show 2014. Loving it, doing a lot of demos, having fun. We'll talk about that in a second. It's raining a lot here, but I'm inside in the hotel. My name's Woody Adams. I'm a product specialist with Intuit. And though Intuit likes the show, anything I do say might not really reflect the beliefs or the thoughts of those at Intuit as well, so Intuit's not really affiliated with the show. So I just need to say that blurb first, but welcome, thanks for listening, and thanks for listening throughout the week if you're not listening live now. If you are listening live now, go to RadioFreeQB.com and click on the YouTube icon and join the Google Hangout. It's starting right now, and we're going to have Joe Woodard on tonight. But before we get to that, Joe should be on in about 10 minutes. It should be a lot of fun. Of course, Stacy Kildall, Don Berlin are on too. Stacy, I know you just got back from New York. You're back home in Michigan. How's it going there?
It's going okay. I'm messing with my screen here, so I apologize for leaning into everybody, trying to figure out what it exactly that I'm doing, because I don't know how to edit my screenness. So I'm trying to fix that. Yeah, I was just in New York. I missed all of you guys by just a few minutes.
It's actually just ridiculous.
I'm gonna say
all three in New York in the last 48 hours.
Yeah, so Dawn got in Friday because she had a huge event for her daughter on Monday night, and so she got in Friday, and she left Monday night. I got in Sunday and left this morning, and Woody got in yesterday. And so my plan, what I really wanted to do, was I wanted to connect with Dawn and go see her daughter sing at Carnegie Hall, but it was sold out.
Stinking tickets.
Right.
Yeah, like Dawn walked like 8,000 times up there to see if they had any new tickets at the box office, and they didn't. So that's no big deal. No big deal. So then my secondary plan was that I was going to, because I was in Suffern, which apparently is right across the street from New Jersey.
Suffern.
I don't know. I really don't know where I was or what I was doing. I mean, I know what I was doing, but I really don't have any idea where I was. So I was like, I think that's maybe like an hour outside the city. So I was going to Tuesday go stay where Woody and MB Raimondi and Emily and all the Intuit people were staying for the New York Accounting Show, because I didn't know when I booked my flight that it was kind of overlapping. And then I wanted to bump my flight back because I had a 9:40 a.m. flight out of LaGuardia, and I'm just going to say I did not fly Delta this time, and I missed my Delta. I'm just saying that. I missed the ass kissing. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I missed the ass kissing that I get when I fly Delta. I flew a bargain airline. I will not mention, but it rhymes with Jarrett. So I flew them. Yeah, I flew another airline, and they were really nice. Yeah, it rhymes with yeah. So I flew. So anyway, I was gonna go stay in the city and hang out with you guys. Yeah. But the hotel where you guys were all staying at, the rooms went from like $179 the first time I looked at them, to like an hour later, $429.
That's crazy.
And I was just like, no, I'm not gonna. No. I'm just not gonna do that. I mean, as much as I love you and MB and Emily and everybody there, I don't love you $429 worth. I'm just gonna say.
We're paying like $129. You got a room block.
Right, and and so that's what I was kind of hoping to get, but it was ridiculous. So I did not go. So we were all there, and I missed everybody, and that gave me the sads. So.
Well, I mean, the bathrooms are in the cellar, but it's a really cool old hotel. The rooms are really small. I showed up early, so my room wasn't ready, and I was like, I need to go potty. And they're like, well, your room's not ready. There's a lot of restaurants up and down the street. I'm like, yeah, but can I just go here? And like, well, here's a key to the C. They call it the C because no one wants to say the word cellar. I don't get it. Cellar's a great word, but they don't say it anymore, I guess, in modern times, which is really another term for the basement. So I go down to the basement with my key that they gave me, and I try to get in the door, but it's already locked up. There's a bunch of other people using the actual place that I need to use, So I wasn't just going to a urinal, I was, what I mean. So it took me quite a long time to eventually get comfortable at the hotel, but they fitted me a room real quick under extreme circumstances, and I'm loving it. On the 4th floor, I got a view of an alleyway and a building. An alleyway and a building, which is really sweet. No, I love the DoubleTree. It's down in Chelsea. We're on 29th Street. We get to walk to Pennsylvania Hotel. It's been a lot of fun. Did a lot of QBO, QBO8 demos. Didn't talk much desktop today. Got some questions, but it was mostly about QuickBooks Online. It was really fun.
Cool.
I'll tell you.
Dawn, what have you got going on?
Yeah, Dawn.
Not really doing much.
I like that jacket you got on there, honey bunny.
I know. I wore it for the love of the sweatshirt, the coat, if you will. It's warm and fuzzy today because it's actually cold and rainy. Cold being probably like 46-ish, 48.
Yeah, chilly.
But yeah, I know it's, listen, if you follow me on Facebook, I've become addicted in the last 3 weeks. Not for anything other than my kid.
Right.
And she turned 16 on Sunday, so there'll be more pictures on Sunday. And today I went to get the cake. I was talking to Stacy, and I went and got the cake, and almost crying at the cake place.
Right.
Like, it's just cake, for goodness sake. Oh,
you know what? Joe King, the lovely, wonderful Joe King, is in the chat room, in the Blog Talk Radio chat room, and I'm going to talk about Blog Talk Radio stuff versus YouTube stuff in just a second. And she said she had an awful, awful day. She used awful 2 times. And so,
sorry, Joe.
Sorry.
Right? And so I just want to say, I'm sorry you had a bad day, Joe. And we adore you, and we would all give you a big squeezy hug right now if you were with us. And so we hope you have a better evening. And I want to speak very quickly. I'll let Woody do sponsors in a second, but I want to speak very quickly about the live YouTube. So as you guys who are longtime listeners know, we recently added live video so that we could do screen shares and show you some stuff, and you guys could see us and whatever, just kind of mix it up a little bit. And so they're not meant to be used at the same time. So if you're going to be listening and just listening, please, you can go to traditional Blog Talk Radio, the link that's on RFQ website, RadioFreeQB.com, and you can still listen live. With the website if you want. You can still listen through iTunes. You can still, the same way you've always listened, you can. However, you also have the choice now where you can go to, and I'm messing with my cord here because it keeps catching my hair, but you can also go to our YouTube page, which is, you go to RadioFreeQB.com up in the top left-hand corner, and I'll do a quick screen share to show that. If you go to that website, you can see up here in the top right hand corner is a link to our YouTube page. If you click on that, you can watch the live show if you want. And so whenever we're going to show you how to do something and we're going to talk to you about something, we're going to do screen shares, make it a little bit interesting. However, if you are just listening to the podcast, we'll walk you through each step. And actually, while I have the Radio Free QB website up, I want to kind of mention this post. So the last post that we put up on the 29th, I just did this the other day. Woody and I have a project that we have been working on. It's an ongoing thing, kind of like our matrix, kind of like the QuickBooks product comparison chart that Woody does for you guys. I don't want to say we because all I do is just post it up on the website. Woody does.
I don't do anything. So there's that.
So,
not true.
I don't know. I think it's my pretty face. That's why they want me to be part of this.
So Woody and I do a list, and we've had this list for a couple of years now, and these are things we call QBO opportunities, and these are features that we think are very important that are in the desktop versions, the Windows desktop versions of QuickBooks. And what we have done is, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see it better on the screen, we have, I took it, Woody categorized it this time, we update it, we go through it every couple months, and so Woody gave me the latest list, we went through it and updated it. This doesn't have anything to do with Intuit, this isn't anything that Intuit has created, this is just something that Woody and I do because we're nerds, and we do this like in our spare time. Yeah, we just email each other back and forth, and discuss these things, and it's really sad and disgusting that
it's just
we're nerds. Yeah, I mean, it's just, we're geeks about it. And so really what it is, we want you guys to please go to RadioFreeQB.com. It's right there on the homepage, and it's what features would you most like to see. And so you can rank them, and it's not like, I mean, you can give if there's 5 or 6 different things, and I'll click through, it's right on the website. If you'll see, you can actually click.
Yeah, I like this.
I'll make it a little bit bigger, too, so you guys can see it. It's basically QBO opportunities ranked, and so we ask that you please tell us your name and your email address. You don't have to, but if you want to, that would be super great. And it's basically saying, do you want the price levels, create invoices and batch, those things that are in desktop that aren't in QBO, and you can kind of say, yes, I really, really want this, no, I don't. And what's really cool is it's just kind of a 1 through 5, what do you want? You can give 1 to more than one thing on the list if you want, that's no big deal.
Yeah.
But really, please go and fill this out. We are kind of interested in it. It's just something that we're probably going to use to do a show later on. I think what we'll probably do, Woody and I, and probably Dawn, I'm sure too, will probably maybe do some articles and some blog posts on our website and things like that. Just kind of, and maybe try and find some workarounds and stuff as well. And so Joe is popping in, and that's a good segue because here it is. And so
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you, Joe.
So please go fill this survey out. We ask you please very kindly to do that and share it with as many people as you know. And they don't necessarily have to be other accounting professionals. It's really anybody that uses QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop. So please do that. I will put that in the chat room as well, so you guys can see that link, and it's also, like I said, RadioFreeQB.com. It's the blog that's up there right this second. And we got to do sponsors too, don't we? We haven't done sponsors yet.
We'll bring Joe on. Let's do sponsors and bring Joe on. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll do sponsors.
So yeah, weigh in because we need it. And Joe, I'll bring you in 1 second, but we'd like to thank our sponsors. Of course, Avalara. I saw Ian today, by the way. He's at the New York show. Of course, all his the box from Washington. I guess they never got it on time or something, or give enough time. So Ian was just hanging out at his table.
Oh, that's
really funny. He's a great guy. Awesome. So Avalara.com, dynamic tax engine, and they've been around integrating with desktop and QBO forever. Of course, T-Sheets. I actually tracked my whole day at the accounting show using T-Sheets today. I clocked in and I clocked out. I was there almost 7 hours doing demos, and they have a note section. I logged it to my boss, who's a customer. I put in a service item, and I sent it over to QuickBooks Online. It was really fun. It went to payroll. It also went to an invoice. So it was really cool how T-Sheets works, kind of tracking the project I did today, as well as some notes so I could track how many demos I did. So tsheets.com, check it out. Clocking in, clocking out, tracking time for your users. I can also, as the admin, enter time for others, even though they might not be on T-Sheets. So that's really cool. It's a lot of fun. And the sync with QBO is behind the scenes and kind of magic, auto-magical, as we say. So it's really cool. There's no sync manager to install or manage. It's quite simple. So also Unidata, QuickBooks, and Microsoft Office hosting. Though I did not see them at the show, I should walk around, but they're really nearby in Flushing, New York. And then Exact Online, manufacturing a wholesale add-on for both desktop and QuickBooks Online. That's exactonline.com. And of course, also I've hooked up Zencash to my QBO file finally. It doesn't push anything back to QuickBooks, but it pulls all the info in. And there's cool reports. I got my action timeline. I sent out some reminders, and you can even get collections set up. So that's Zencash.com. It takes care of your AR stuff for desktop and QBO. And we'd like to thank our sponsors. And then for Don, Stacy, and myself, we're excited tonight because we're going to start talking to Joe, as we gear up to Scaling New Heights, which is coming up in 6 weeks.
Couple weeks.
Mid-June. It's now the 30th, so 6 weeks down in San Antonio. Love it, right. So around 6. So Joe Woodard's on. I'm actually going to bring him into the so he can talk, and then we'll talk about Scaling New Heights Live. So Joe, thanks for calling in. How's it going there tonight?
It's going great. It's going great. Can you hear me okay?
Wait. I can't hear him because we gotta unmute him. We gotta unmute him in the show, right?
No, he's unmuted.
Oh.
Hold on. Let me try the Hangouts.
Standby.
Let's see. Where is it?
Standby.
Okay, I'm good now.
There he is, Joe.
There you are.
Joe!
How you doing, guys?
I like your little
How you
brand
doing?
back there behind you. Your little Scaling Heights. You got your
Yeah,
screen.
I love that.
Nice. Good job,
You gotta
buddy.
make a set. Gotta make a set.
That's why I have all the pictures. I hung up pictures the first time we did this just for the Google stuff, just for the Hangout stuff. Otherwise, those pictures wouldn't be there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's great. Well, thanks for taking the time to come on tonight, Joe. I know you're really busy prepping for Scaling New Heights. And just in case there are some listeners who aren't sure your whole story, if you could just kind of give a brief intro and then we'll go into Scaling New Heights, that would be awesome.
Yeah, the intro is I'm what you call, I guess, an Intuit insider, as I know that everybody on this call is. But I started working with Intuit about 10 years ago, helped them build their training division that up until recently was based out of Plano. Still, a few of you guys still left there in that training division, and helped to develop certification training and certification testing, especially, most notably, the very first advanced certification exam prep. That course material and everything was designed by me. So, in part, I did about half of that. And then after I built that, helped them build that division, and that contract kind of matured. As a matter of fact, that's where I met Dawn, that's where I met Stacy, and you, Woody, is all part of that work. I decided I'd launch my own conference, and we did that in 2009, 100% Intuit-centric, all focused on pro advisor empowerment training.
Right, and if you're not a pro advisor, you get kicked out, right? You got bouncers.
Almost. It's almost like that, yeah. Or there's a sense of positive peer pressure drives you to join the program right away. But it is definitely a conference by pro advisors for pro advisors, mostly taught by pro advisors. So it's really our event. Intuit, it came along board about 2 years in and helped me take it to the next level. And now it's culminated to the point where we're going to take over the second largest JW Marriott in the country, as well as overflow hotels in San Antonio in June.
Nice.
That's going to be fun. And the exact dates of the Scaling New Heights?
Exact dates are June 15th through 18th. Yep, 2014, and San Antonio, Texas.
Very nice.
It's a little hot,
Very
right?
cool.
It's gonna be hot.
Yep.
Probably.
Yeah, it'll be warm.
Seriously, I'm already melting.
Down there, but nice.
I'm already feeling like I'm not like I'm not saying that from a weight perspective. I'm saying that from the skin that, covers my organs, for goodness sake.
Right.
From that perspective, your skin,
this is
skin
a very,
perspective.
very high-tech JW. It was like state-of-the-art convention center, and they had this brand new invention they put into the convention center called air conditioning. So it just keep everybody nice and cool.
Is there a tunnel? Is there a tunnel from the airport to the convention center? That's what I'm looking for.
No, but the
not one
cabs
like
are very
Michigan.
high-tech too. They also had this air conditioning newfangled
Oh.
thing in the
But the
cabs.
problem is you have to
That's
stand outside the airport to catch the cab. That in and of itself.
Yeah, that's
That
like
is
5
true.
minutes of torture.
Yeah.
Sheer torture.
Yeah,
I might-
if you guys can
You know what? I will
get
say
5 minutes
this.
of heat, I'll give you guys a great experience, right?
I will say this.
That's good.
At least
good.
it won't. It's not gonna. Not that I didn't love last year's event, but last year's event logistically was a little tough because there was, for people like Dawn and I who teach like every session every day, God forbid you forget something at your room last year, because you'd have to get on the tram and then go back to the resort that you were staying at and then come back on the tram. And so I think I had to run back to my room last year, and it took an hour. I timed it, and it took an hour and 11 minutes. So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
Okay, so what I can tell you this year,
Yeah.
is everything is contained in one building. All
Oh my
training,
God.
That's awesome.
same building. All guest
That's
rooms,
awesome.
same building. Even
Wow.
the TPC golf course, if you're a golfer,
No.
depending on where your room is located, you could take as few as 40 steps to get to the first tee. I mean, everything is tightly contained, yes.
I'll drive the cart
is
for
awesome.
somebody, but I'm not going to do the golfing part of it. I'll drink the beer
Yeah, Joe, we'll have to get offline. We got to talk about the golf.
Tea time, Stacey.
Yeah, you're probably drinking much beer then. Yeah.
No, I just don't golf. I'm just trying to say that I don't golf. Roland is the golfer. I don't golf.
I'm a ride along as well. I have a set of clubs because then I kind of belong there, but I don't really. I don't even shot. Yeah.
I don't even try to pretend, man. I just.
And are there?
Like,
Joe, there's still. Someone goes to ScalingNewHeights.com. They can still sign up. Are there still plenty of rooms available? You know, I mean,
well,
people can get rooms.
At this point, we've got about 20% of our room block left. So we
Okay.
do have an overflow contingency, but it will involve that shuttling. So 20% though in a hotel this size does mean 200 rooms. So you have time.
Oh, wow.
You don't have a lot of time. I can tell you that just yesterday, your team there at Intuit, Donna Duncan, who's your cubicle buddy, she sent a postcard to all pro advisors in the country. And I can't disclose what that number is. It's NDA, but you know it's tens of thousands of pro advisors in the country.
Right.
That's going to start landing today and tomorrow and early next week. We're going to get a big surge. So I don't expect those 200 rooms to last much longer. If you're serious about getting into this event, I'd definitely check us out in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Right on.
Okay, that's good.
I don't know if I booked a room yet or not. I think Wendy told me to book a room, and I don't know if I did that or not.
Well, Stacey, we got your room covered. Don't worry. Yeah,
all right, you see.
Well, I think
you're
set, it, but I don't know because I have no short-term.
Wendy is listening in right now, so
I know.
As we speak, she is going and getting your room. Make no mistake. Dawn, do you need a room? She can take care of that while we're at it.
Roland. You know what, Dawn? I actually was going to email you today to see if you wanted me just to book your flights for you. Because, and the reason why, just so everybody, it's not because, like, she can't do it. It's because usually when we're going to the same event, because you can't get direct out of Connecticut to anywhere on the planet, you have to connect. We usually have her fly through Detroit, and then her and I fly together, which I feel so bad sometimes for those flight attendants. I'm just going to say.
That's also very fair.
So,
but the people around us love it.
They do. They love it. With fun.
Let's talk about some of the tracks and what you're doing because
Woody, you're always getting to business.
Like a few years in a row. I'm sorry, Don. Go ahead.
I say you're always getting to business.
Well, I just I want to because Joe's taking his time out of his busy night. I just want to get to some of the meat too.
I know.
Can we set the record straight? Can we set the record straight? I am never busy. Wendy is always busy. So as we speak, she is in the office next door. What time is it? It's 10 minutes to 8 Eastern time. She is still in the office next door. She's
in the chat room.
Booking Stacey's room.
She's in the chat room talking to us on the show. That's what she's doing.
So she's not working. Okay,
probably with a glass of wine in her hand. I'm just saying. Allegedly. Allegedly.
So, Joe, I do have an annual question for you regarding Wendy. Are you guys going to be driving from Atlanta to San Antonio, and is she going to be driving?
No, not driving.
Oh, that would be awesome.
We could set this sort of, eastbound and down record. Getting home, we could break Smokey and the Bandits record.
Eastbound and down.
But we thought we'd try bring some Coors with us in the trunk, But no, we decided to fly. So.
That's awesome. And I think I'm actually going to drive because I think it's just 3 or 4 hours from Dallas down to San Antonio, so I might just drive down.
Yeah, so let me tell you what Dee runs all the shows at Intuit, so that's Donna Duncan.
Right.
Dee and I are toying around with this idea of an Intuit bus, right? So there are only going to be about 10 of you guys going from the Plano office, but think about how many people from Dallas, and what is it you guys drive through getting there? Is it Austin?
Yes.
Okay.
Real close. They're very close to each other.
Advisors in Austin on the Intuit party bus and drive on in. So that may actually happen. We're still working on that idea. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. No, that's awesome. Looking forward to it. So can you give us, a breakdown of Scaling New Heights for tracks, if possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hold on,
Absolutely.
wait, 1 second. You guys hear this?
Yeah. What was that?
There you go. That's for Joe. He's pounding down. Jerry
Oh.
Reed.
You got your Smokey and the Bandit pulled up that fast. That's funny. Okay, so on the tracks, there are 3 different distinct kinds of
Can I ask you, do you know how to screen share?
I can screen share. I made the mistake of logging in on my iPad. So.
Okay, then don't worry about it. It's okay.
Yeah, but if you could help me with some screen share, I could talk you through where to go on the website. But
right on, I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do that.
ScalingIce.com, and there are 3 distinct kinds of tracks here. One of them is technical training on QuickBooks, right? And that falls into 2 different categories: certification exam preparation and post-exam, highly advanced, in-depth technical training on QuickBooks. So it depends on which kind of goal you're trying to set. I know, Dawn, you're involved in our certification track preps this year. And
nice,
and Stacy, who's done our QBO cert for many, many years, is doing a more advanced training on QuickBooks Online now. We're having another crew of instructors come in and do QBO cert. But here's the takeaway. 100% of ProAdvisor certifications are covered in the course, including the much coveted QuickBooks Online Advanced Certification Extended Education or Continuing Education courses that help you maintain your advanced cert.
It's not QuickBooks Online. It's just
actually
advanced
qualify
cert
for that CPE. Yep.
Right. It's not QuickBooks Online. It's just advanced cert, right?
Advanced cert continuing education. Absolutely.
Okay,
right.
so
we do see your screen just fine. This is our website. If you click on the top to 2014 conference up there at the top navigation, and you go into the tracks and sessions, second one down, it kind of gives you an overview. If you want to scroll down just a little bit, you'll see some of that the training that's available there and kind of the breakdown of it. But if you already have all the certifications you want, that's perfectly fine because this event is still for you. All the post-certification technical training is there, and that's just the tech side. There are 2 other kinds of training at Scaling New Heights. One is practice development training, practice growth and development. Now, we have tripled the amount of practice growth and development training for this year's show by public demand. So there's professional development, practice growth and development. Doesn't matter where your firm is, if you're a sole practitioner or if you have an entire team, they're going to be plug-in places for you there. Now, this doesn't show much because that's our pre-con, but if you click on Monday where you start seeing the major areas on that Monday tab, you'll see the major tracks of the conference. We offer 18 concurrent training sessions per hour. So there is no doubt you're going to run into an hour of this show where there's not something that appeals to you. The problem with our show isn't like other shows where you hit an hour and you're like, there's nothing here that interests me. I'm just going to have to go back to my room and type on emails.
No, the problem, Joe,
with 18 options, it's going to be which one of these things I want to go to can I pick.
That is the problem. That is inherently the problem with your conference, is that it is a good problem to have because, man, oh man, it is so hard to choose which track of training you want to take, and you guys can see on my screen. I mean, there's stuff going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lots of great training available. Method, software, successful software implementation, demand force, just amazing stuff. And you're running. And correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't you running QuickBooks Online certification every day?
Every single day there's QuickBooks Online certification with optional on-site certification testing, right? We have a testing lab that's monitored by Intuit. You can just take your test right there. And this is a good shot, Stacy. If you'll leave it on this, you can see the stuff on the left-hand side, which is more lightly colored. That's all your QuickBooks certification tracks. And then you've got your technical tracks. Then the purple is your practice development. The green is training on third-party products that integrate with QuickBooks. Now, folks, we don't do demos, right? We don't waste your time doing demos at our show. This is not an expo. It's not an exploratory experience. We figured you could stay home, save the expense, and call any third party, and they'll be happy to give you a private demo. You don't need to go to a show for that. All of our third-party training is in-depth, what we call consultancy empowerment training. So we hand select a group that people can't just pay their way into this, right? If it's in the major tracks, they have to be hand selected by us as and pre-identified by us as a consultancy opportunity, something that you could go out and bill at whatever your standard billing rate is, maybe even a premium rate, installing as QuickBooks integrated solutions. So this is those green tracks are really, really meaty stuff.
Oh, and you know what, Joe? What you and I were talking, because advanced concepts for QuickBooks Online is a session that you and I were kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do with it, right? And we decided, I think I said we're going to do, we're going to go through an hour of the job costing workarounds. And you and I were talking on the phone, something that we wanted to really message about that. What was it? And I totally, do you like my, I have no short term. Right? Job costing, and then you were like, oh, the difference between when is QBO, that's the other thing too, is there's another session that I'm doing on converting from QuickBooks Desktop to, or just basically converting really anything to QuickBooks Online. And what we really want to get the point across with that is, what we're also going to cover is when you can't, when it's not a good idea to convert to QuickBooks Online. You know, you know me, I want to put everybody on QBO, and I have for 10 years, because it makes my life easier. It's easier to work with the clients, but there are some times where even I have to just admit defeat and say that QuickBooks Online is not going to be the best fit for that client, and so then we go to, you know, Pro, Premier, Enterprise, but we still put it online and we just host it. And so we want to really, that's one thing that we wanted to talk about. I wanted to make sure we mentioned it tonight, is that we're definitely going to talk about that in the session, and I'm hoping, and I talked to Woody the other day, I emailed him, I think he's probably going to come in to a few of my sessions and help me just kind of, you know, give me an assist, because he knows as much as I do on this stuff. So, but really good sessions. I think the conversion one and the job costing workarounds are going to be, I'm hoping they'll be packed. So hopefully we can get some numbers from you. Hopefully we can get some numbers from you so that I can make sure that I beat Brolin and Katrulia in my attendance. First, beating Katrulia is going to be easy this year, because Katrulia is taking a year off. Some other things that were conflicting with this, and she didn't feel like she could prepare adequately for it, which I respect, right? I mean, Katrulia doesn't do anything unless it's great. So, so her tracks are being produced this year by the 2020 group, which is a very reputable practice development arm. But I will tell you this. We expanded our portals this year, so instructors can log in anytime and see what their counts are at any time, real time. So
oh my goodness, how do you do that? It's going to take me 7 hours.
The QB, this is the reason the QBO, when it's right, when it's not right thing, is so important. Because people tend to take an all or nothing approach to this. If I have any doubts whatsoever about any of my clients being able to go to QBO, I'm just going to say, wait on QBO until my entire practice can adopt. And this is a bad strategy, right? I think if we told people, this is when you can do it, this is when you need to wait, and then we make that real time, right? If there's because QBO is always changing, right? And we could say no to a client now, and 3 months later it's okay, the non-starter is now a starter. But I think if we tell people, and this is the power message, you don't have to wait until all your clients can go.
Right.
Start when the first client can go.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what we did on Roadshow. Is I have like this sort of formula, I guess. This is how I did it, and so this is what I taught everybody is, you know, make a list of all your clients and look at what you do for them. And I told the Roadshow people, and we're doing this in the webinars for Intuit Academy as well, we're saying, take your list of clients, look at what you're doing for them, look at them at kind of as a whole, and say, which one of my clients, make a list of them, list them all. Which one of my clients are going to be the easiest to convert? You know, does this one have multi-currency? Not going to be a good fit. Does this one use an inventory? Maybe not the best conversion right now. That's a more complex conversion. So look at the ones who are going to be easiest to convert to QuickBooks Online, and also make another list and rank them in order of who's going to be most receptive to making that. Some of them may dig in their heels and not want to do it. So you really need to have that kind of sweet spot. And what you'll find is, at least what I found, and what I'm talking to other pro advisors and accounting professionals, is the top few of each one of those lists overlap quite a bit. So take the first couple, the ones that are going to be the easiest and the ones that are going to be most receptive, and sort of match up the ones that hit the top of both of those lists and pick those and move those to QuickBooks Online and move those clients online first. And also, you know, if you have I have a client who I call him my guinea pig client. I call him that right to his face. Anytime I find a new app, I find something that I like and I want to try out, and I can't do it within my own practice, I ask him, I usually email him, I say, hey, we got a new one, it's not going to cost you anything extra, will you try it with me? And he's ready and willing to go, and he's brutally honest, this is great, this sucks, I don't want to do it anymore, this is a piece of crap, you know, like he's totally honest. And so, you know, if you have one of those clients that's kind of like your guinea pig client, ask them, you know, hey, we want to move to QBO. And then if you need to, run parallel systems for a month while you have that free trial and make sure that it's going to be a good fit for everybody. So that's just my 2 cents. And that's what we taught on Roadshow.
Fantastic. I think it's a fantastic approach. And that's why you and I talked earlier today about making it really clear, right? Not just how to, but when to.
Yes.
And when to might be sooner or even now, right? Sooner than you think or even now.
Yeah.
But it's important to know that. So.
Well, let's ask Dawn. Let's get Dawn to weigh in because she's brought a lot of QBO clients onto the firm lately. So, Dawn, your take on this?
Well, you
QBO,
know,
when it's the right fit.
Yeah, so we have actually converted out of probably 25 or 30 in the last 4 or 5 months. We only had one client with 2 accounts go back. So just to give a perspective. I have an appointment tomorrow to talk with somebody about going to QBO from desktop, and I'm a desktop person. I'm not saying, like Stacy said, I mean, there are times when QBO is not fit for some clients, and it totally depends on their needs and their structure and their budget. I mean, all those things are very, very important when you're analyzing what the clients need. And I think that is really something that's extremely important that people understand. People need to not just think that, you know, and Stacy knows, this is extremely respectful of Stacy and Woody and Intuit and everybody. QBO is a great solution, but it's not always the right one. And so what I love about what is going to be offered at Scaling New Heights is the ability for people to decipher the difference. And I think that's really important. And I love Unidata. I love the desktop, and there are reasons. Everybody's heard 80 million times why. You know, I had a client this weekend, on actually Friday night, because, you know, I do it when I'm not around. I have Unidata upgrade people. Let's upgrade you from Enterprise 11 to Enterprise 14, but I'm not going to be able to talk to you till Monday. So sorry, Christine and Wendy, but you guys need to be around. But, you know, stuff happens, but, you know, Unidata was right there and helped them, you know, get that all figured out. But I think that it's really important for people to understand that there is a difference. There are times when it works, times when it does, just like anything else. You know, a Jeep Wrangler that I drive, because I love it and I want to just hug it, works for me here in Connecticut. But you know what? In Florida, that doesn't make much sense. Well, maybe it does. Maybe it's a Hummer. I don't know, unless you're trying to look cool. I don't know, because I look wicked cool in my Jeep Wrangler, right? So every place, you know, there's no need typically in Georgia, right, Joe, for sanding trucks, typically. But this winter, it would have been a good idea. So the state needs to know when a sand truck is appropriate and when it's not.
You have to explain what you mean by sand in a truck. You're talking about bags of sand, right?
No, I'm talking about a truck that actually disperses the sand and the salt on its own.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. What are you talking about? Are you talking about giving yourself some
Not
weight?
one that could carry it, right. So
no, I'm just saying, you know, a lot of times you'll put bags of sand in a vehicle to give it some weight.
Well, that's to weigh it down. That's right.
In the snow.
We're talking ice, poor ice storms. Anyway, Joe, my point is
either one.
And you know what? I will not say that anyone should sign up for anyone's courses but mine, of course, because I'll be throwing things at people. It'll be ugly.
Yeah.
But yet awesome. But I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
A course around when not to use QBO and when to use QBO is actually extremely critical to consultants, because there are reasons to do something and reasons not to do something, and
right.
that's fantastic. So that's
we have to be empowered with the knowledge, right? I mean, our whole thing is we have to make informed decisions that are in the best interest of our clients.
Exactly.
And at Scaling New Heights, we try to train to the full gamut of things so that you can understand that 360-degree view and say, and that's what the exhibit floor is for too. 100 solutions that integrate with QuickBooks in one room, right? So you can walk that floor, and you can get that 5-minute understanding, right? High-level understanding of a product that integrates with QuickBooks, just so when that client comes along with that need, you can be the smartest person in the room. You can say, I know exactly the solution that will help you. Now, maybe you only know that it will help them. You have no idea how, because remember 5 minutes at their booth. But you know which way to point them, right? Then you can go get more information, and you can be the hero to your client. So it's all about knowing how to get them there, right? Knowing where
And Scaling New Heights will help you do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the platform for SNH is for. And I also think that in the last year, you can really bring QBO into a lot of conversations now. You can add it to the ecosystem as something you can really consult on, and it could be an option for your clients, and be confident that way, because we have an accountant platform too. So I think this is going to be real fun, Scaling Heights, because it's going to showcase everything from QBO to Enterprise and the third parties, which I like.
Yep.
It's funny, Joe, I finally got to use Method for the first time ever. I hooked it up to my QuickBooks Online file. Very sophisticated software, Method. I'm just scratching the surface, but I really like it. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it is extremely powerful software. We run our entire conference on it, and if you've registered for the conference, you go to sign up for your sessions, or you go in to book your hotel room through our portal. You've used Method. You just didn't know it, right? We built all that through the site and everything else.
Yeah, one of the apps for QBO is the Method CRM. So really like that, and I just found that it has a time tracking capability too. It's kind of just buried in all the stuff it has. So it's pretty cool. So those guys are great too. I like those guys. So what other things, Joe? What are the keynotes going to be like this year? What can other things attendees can expect?
Oh yeah, what are we doing? Are we doing something?
What's that?
Are we doing something? One of those keynotes?
Oh, absolutely.
I wasn't sure.
QuickBooks is one of the keynote featured spots. So we'll get to that in just a minute, because I want to save the best for last. But we start off with Brad Smith, right? Brad Smith's the CEO of Intuit. So if I'm saving the best for last, for QuickBooks. But no, all joking aside, the conference starts with Frank Abagnale, who was portrayed by Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, we know Frank. Dawn and I have huge crushes.
Yeah.
Dawn and I have huge crushes on Frank Abagnale after our interview. Like, we were giddy, like schoolgirls. We might as well have been talking to, like, Robert Plant. Like, it was, like, that big of a rock star for us.
Well, to tell you how mesmerizing Frank is, after I got done with a webinar with Frank yesterday, I had a crush. I had a crush. So... No, but Frank's gonna have a great opening keynote. He's gonna get us started off with a bang, and then I'll be delivering a keynote. Luis Sanchez, director of North American Pro Advisor Program, is going to be providing a keynote, and then of course Brad Smith, CEO of Intuit, is going to round us off at the end. But in there, Radio Free QuickBooks is going to be conducting a live on-stage version of their radio show. That I'm sure that the recording might be made available for some sort of post-event broadcast or archive. But you guys are going to be interviewing thought leaders within the space, and I'm very excited to have you guys back.
Yeah, we're excited too. Do we know who those thought leaders are just yet? Have we determined exactly?
We're still lining up the final interview slots. So, it's going to be really cool stuff.
That's exciting. Cool. Now, it was fun last year, so looking forward to it, and loving that it's in San Antonio. There's going to be so much for people to do, after the conference is done? You know, the river walk, all the restaurants. How close is the Marriott to all that stuff?
Well, it's not very close to all of that stuff, but that's okay because we're going to get our attendees down there for a $35 nominal investment. You can participate in our Alamo Welcome Social. So imagine this, guys. Imagine this. We're going to have somewhere between 700 and 1,000 people in the 2 blocks that we have booked off of downtown San Antonio in front of the Alamo. And all of these people are going to leave our hotel at the same time. Can you imagine the fleet of buses, right?
Yeah.
The fleet of buses headed from the JW Marriott for the 20-minute trip down to where we have this entire block. We have the entire Alamo rented. I didn't know you could rent the Alamo, but Wendy just came into you and I rented the Alamo, right? So we have that all done. And,
that's awesome.
And we're going to have some private tours of the Alamo that are going to be conducted. We've got a Davy Crockett character walking around for photo ops, and there are many more surprises I won't even get into right now. But it's going to be the Pro Advisor party of the century. I'm not kidding.
Sweet. So, Joe, I have a question. You and I chatted today a little bit about it. You sort of alluded to it, but you didn't show any of the cards that you had in your hand. You, speaking of last year and at Disney, you recently did something that was kind of interesting, I thought, and I didn't even know that they had this available, but you went down to Disney and for training, but I'm assuming it wasn't to be like a character at Disney World, right?
No, they didn't teach me how to be a good Mickey Mouse.
Right,
definitely
it was
not Prince Charming. He has hair, but what they did tell me is there's an arm of Disney a lot of people are not aware of called Disney Institute, and it's a small to emerging business school that has several different courses you can line up for. So I took one since we're in an explosive growth phase here with all of our organization, and we've been talking a lot about the conference, but at the end of the day, we're a Pro Advisor practice. I mean, we are if you're listening here as a Pro Advisor, we're one of you. We're like Dawn, we're like Stacy. And so we're a Pro Advisor practice, that's exploding. We have a network exploding. We have a media organization that's exploding. Everything's just growing. The convention business. And I've gone from being a field Pro Advisor to being a full-time CEO, right? I'm not trained for this stuff. I know how to be an accountant. So I went to Disney Institute so I could become a better CEO, so they can help me better lead my business. And some of the insights they gave me were tremendous. I mean, if you can imagine sitting in an immersive environment for 5 days, having Disney translate what they've learned over the last 90 years to the small business environment and taking all of those principles that have made them the company they are today, but translating it for businesses like me. That's what Disney Institute does. And I know I just gave them an infomercial they didn't pay for, but it's a good school. So over 5 days, I had 2 major takeaways. I mean, I had about 10, but I have time for 2.
Right.
Disney does something called over-managing, which is very different from micro-managing.
Explain
what's happened
that.
in the space is we've so turned micromanaging into an evil thing, right? Don't touch it, it's taboo. Micromanaging is the evil word. Stay away, stay away, stay away. That we undermanage, okay? And undermanaging is as bad as micromanaging. So what they said is they introduced a completely different alternative called overmanaging. And they said we overmanage things that a lot of other companies either undermanage or fail to manage at all. And an example is the way that they overmanage their guest experience at the park. Let me give you an example of overmanagement. This is overmanagement. I travel more than I care to, 20 weeks a year. I can't tell you how many extension cords I've lost, how many headphones, how many nice pieces of equipment I've lost, right? And it's amazing how they never find these things, right? Lost and found at these hotels is probably just a PR stunt, right? It probably doesn't exist. It goes straight to eBay. I don't know where it goes. So my wife left an $800 Zoom lens. Or I really left it, but it's more fun to say my wife left. My wife left a
Gosh, Joe.
I'm teasing. We both left it. an $800 extended camera lens thing. I mean, this thing's $800 lens for a camera. We left this in our room when we checked out. And Disney not only had it securely make its way to Lost and Found, Disney called my wife on the cell phone because they looked up in their system that we were still in the parks and said, we noticed that you're in Animal Kingdom today. We found your lens and it's sitting at the Bell Station for you. You're on Disney Magical Express. We're going to make sure it's collected along with your luggage package for you and waiting for you at the airport.
Wow.
That's called over management. Okay?
Yeah. That's amazing.
And just because they do that doesn't mean, just because they're Disney, right, doesn't mean that they have the handle on over management. We can over manage for our clients, and that's the takeaway from the story. Can our clients going to go to their friends, go to the Chamber of Commerce, go to their business meetings and say, let me tell you about Dawn Brolin. Let me tell you how Dawn Brolin acted like no other consultant that I had. And we're not talking about how nuts she is, right? We're talking about like how she overmanaged some situation that is better than any other co-advisor than they had ever seen. Dawn did this for me that was radically different because she overmanaged my situation. That's pretty powerful.
It's very fair too.
No, I love that. That's awesome.
You want another major takeaway before we run out of time?
Please.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have. We have all time. Joe, we have as much time as you want.
All right, that's great. That's good to know.
Honestly, no problem.
So Disney said a mission statement, a mission statement by itself is not worth the paper it's written on. All right, that's a bold statement, but then they defended it. They said a lot of companies have a mission statement, and those that don't have one know they should have one. They just have no idea how to go about writing one. So they said, we want you, whatever your mission statement is and however hard it's involved, as long as hard it was to come by and how much it's involved, throw it away. Throw away the mission statement, put it to the side, and forget you have one for a minute. And they said, because until you've created a vision statement, number one, and a purpose statement, number two, your mission statement has no context and it's probably off target.
So then what are all of those things? So now
what are all those things? Thank you, Stacy. Nice segue. A vision statement.
That's what I'm here for.
A vision statement is something really ambitious. Now, a vision statement can, in some groups, be called a BHAG. If you don't know what a BHAG is, B-H-A-G, it's a big, hairy, audacious goal. Okay? And if it's not, it can't just be audacious. It has to be big, hairy, and audacious in order to classify as a BHAG. So a BHAG has to be just somewhere short of megalomania. Okay? But if it's not, it's audacious, not big, hairy, and audacious. And Disney would say, if it's not audacious, if it's not somewhere just short of megalomania, then it's not vision. And if it's ever achievable, it's not vision. So it must be something that no matter how hard you work, you only do it better, you never actually can accomplish it. But the catch is it must also not be impossible. So Disney's is to become the most respected and prevalent entertainment company in the world. They set that vision 90 years ago. They have begun reaching it, but it's never completely fulfilled. Okay?
Right.
Now, so what was mine? My vision statement that culminated, the cake that baked.
Oh, I know what mine is. I know what mine is. Okay, go ahead.
Or what's yours, Stacy?
No, go ahead. I didn't even need to say that out loud, but go ahead. Sorry.
That's right. My vision statement is to radically and positively impact the way small business operates in the world. All right, now, again, just short of audacious, megalomania. Okay, so what makes that not be megalomania? It's two things. First, I have Intuit as a partner to help me in that goal, and they share that goal. Okay, so that makes it a little bit less, a little bit more realistic. But the other thing is the rest of the vision statement. I intentionally truncated it. So let me start again. To radically and positively impact the way small business operates on the planet through the advisors who consult with small business. So there's no way that I can affect 80 million small businesses, not a chance, not one person. but an army of trusted advisors globally helping small business, I might be able to radically impact the life of, say, 20,000, 30,000 advisors in my career. Okay, so now let's get to purpose statement. A purpose statement is at the ground level. It's not only achievable, it should be achieved dozens and dozens of times a day, hundreds of times a day. It's the daily air we breathe. Disney's purpose statement is, we create happiness. Okay? Now, I'll give you a practical way that's played out. At the front of Disney World, the main park, there's a guy who polishes Mickey's ears, and he picks up the trash around the park. He is a custodian. Okay? So a family walked in and they said, we're looking for such and such a store on Main Street, and the guy knew it was 5 stores down on the right. The worst case customer service scenario is to say, go talk to guest relations, I'm a custodian. Okay? Any company can get somebody past that point, right?
Right.
What most companies achieve as success is to say, I'm going to stop picking up my trash, I'm going to look that customer in the eye, I'm going to smile, and I'm going to say, it's 5 stores down on the right, have a nice day. That's not good enough for Disney, because Disney creates happiness. So that custodian handed his handled dustpan to one of the children, handed a broom to the other child, grabbed another broom out of his bin, and led a makeshift parade down Main Street to the store to show them where the store is. Now you ready? This is worth the whole hour if you've tuned in. Right now, what I'm about to say. Ready?
Ready.
For those 5 minutes, that custodian was off task, but he was on purpose.
Right.
And it's okay to occasionally be off task if we're on purpose. But here's where it gets really good. Even when you're on task, you're on purpose. So if a manager came up to ask him while he's picking up a piece of trash, what are you doing? And he says, I'm picking up a piece of trash. The manager would say, thanks for playing. You're not picking up a piece of trash. You're creating happiness. And you're doing that by keeping the streets clean by picking up the piece of trash. All right, so purpose statement, what did I walk away with? We empower advisors. That is where we create empowerment, is the way to phrase it. So we create empowerment. Because if we can empower the advisors who support small business, then we can accomplish our vision. Okay? So that means from now on, that's going to be the question that's asked of everyone. Ardell, what are you doing? Well, I'm processing a registration for Scaling New Heights. No, you're not. You're empowering that person, because you're facilitating them to attend Scaling New Heights, where we will empower them with people like Stacy and Woody and Dawn through powerful education, where we will empower them to. So the question, the answer to the what are you doing question will forever in our organization be, I'm empowering a pro advisor, so that I can then ask, how are you doing that at this moment? See how that's going to radically change our culture?
That's awesome. Have you started that yet?
Yes, we have. We actually
Woodard
started with our senior team,
Woodard Consulting,
and we're going to move it through to everybody else over the next week. So
nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Wow.
Now, how does that translate to the pro advisors who are listening? Well, I think your vision could be the same, to radically and positively impact small businesses. Maybe it's in your city instead of the world, because collectively it's the world. But to radically, so if you're installing QuickBooks onto somebody's computer, what are you doing? Installing QuickBooks? No, you're radically and positively impacting their business.
Right.
You know what?
That's awesome.
I bet I'm thinking about this as we're talking about this, and I'm thinking, like, I bet a lot of us already have those two things, and we already kind of think about that, but we probably just never put it in that context. I mean, I think my vision would be to be, and I've always said it jokingly, but I mean, honestly, seriously, my goal is to become Supreme Global Empress, one QuickBooks file at a time. Like, one QuickBooks, that's my goal. Like, that's my vision. It's very big, hairy, and audacious. And the purpose is we help our small businesses work better, faster, smarter. And we are not always on task, but we're always on purpose. I mean, I spent 20 minutes on the phone the other day, and I may never talk to this person ever again. They called randomly. I was expecting another call from another client. I picked up the phone, and I ended up being on the phone for 20 minutes with them, just kind of answering their questions. And she was like, hey, thanks so much for helping me. I'm not billing for that time, but she's going to remember that. So I was on purpose. I was helping her work smarter. I was helping her work better, faster, and smarter. Just by doing that, just by taking that time. I wasn't necessarily doing a specific task that I needed that was part of my day or part of my schedule, but we were still on purpose, even though I was off task. So I think a lot of us, if we sat down and thought about this, we probably already have these in place, whether it's something that we've sort of thought about in the back of our minds. Like Dawn, I know Dawn's is leaving people better than we found them. Like that's her gig.
Not always. We try to.
But you try to, but that's your that's your motto. Like that's your thing, right? Like that's what you have on your website.
That's right.
And so yeah.
And listen, Dawn, listen, Disney would be the first to tell you they don't always successfully create happiness.
Yeah.
Right? The point is their purpose is to create happiness. They can't do it perfectly. They can only do it consistently.
Right.
So the actual broadcast is probably ending because it's only an hour long, but we can still go, and we can go, the recording can go longer than the actual live broadcast on Blog Talk Radio, and we can make it go as long as we want. My question for you, Joe, is, so we've got the vision, we've got the purpose, what's the mission? What do you do with that mission statement that you said you need those two things?
So sitting in between, your mission statement then only has to be and only should be the things you actually do to fulfill your vision and to accomplish your purpose. So many times people try to pack all of that into one statement. Our mission statement is to create relevant and highly impactful training, applicable resources, for pro advisors. And we're still formulating all the exact wording because I have vision and purpose now. But it's really just a list of things we do to help that sits in between, almost like a business plan, or almost just like a list of services that you might offer. It almost becomes just the cohesive glue between vision and purpose.
Nice. I like that. So the mission is actually the things that you do. Interesting. So for you guys, it's your training, developing your training, putting on your webinars, your NAM,
having pro advisors, right?
Having your network.
Our network is a community of pro advisors within a community called pro advisors. So we're a community within a community, and that's one of the things that we do to empower pro advisors. We have the Intuitive Accountant, 100% pro advisor centric editorial content to empower pro advisors. So it's just the things we do.
I love that. And so for people like Dawn and I mean, for me, it would be, I get a small business and I go through and analyze and set up their back office, set up their workflow. What are you going to do? Are you going to use QBO? We go through and we figure out, we do all the technology consulting, and we figure out what tools they're going to need to run their business the best way. We set up their QuickBooks. So it's basically the stuff that we do every day. I love this. This is really great. You were right. I'm glad that you waited and didn't tell me earlier while we were on the phone. I like that.
Yeah.
Good job, Joe. Good show.
Well, Joe, thanks a lot. Awesome takeaways, and I'm sure that's going to be some themes in your keynote, is my guess, right? And not to give anything away, but it sounds.
You guys were getting a little teaser of the keynote, where I'll be sharing not just my vision, but how to translate that in greater detail to you guys as pro advisors and accounting professionals. So.
Well, so if you guys haven't signed up for Scaling New Heights, go to scalingnewheights.com. Let's get everybody there. It sounds like the Alamo party is going to be a bash and just a lot of fun. Dawn will be heading off the advanced certification training, so bring an extra wardrobe, of course, to those classes. And Stacy will be doing a lot of the QuickBooks Online, too. Yeah. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Scaling New Heights, can't wait.
That's the other thing, too. That I want to mention before we get into sponsors. That's the other thing that I want to mention too, that we haven't talked about really quickly. That's a big, huge part of Scaling New Heights, and that is the networking. So I am a firm believer in the fact that you should not try to be everything to every client. Everybody has their own. I always say you got to find your gig, right? You got to find, like, that's my jam, like that is my gig. This is what I do, and so you need to find whatever your thing is, and then what Scaling New Heights helps you do is connect with other people who know about the stuff that's not your jam, right? It's not your gig. So I'm not an e-commerce person. Jim Savage is. I'm not a nonprofit person. Roland works a lot with nonprofits. So it's kind of things like that.
Investigations.
Or an expert witness in some sort of legal case. She does a lot of consulting for attorneys now. So So that's one of the things about Scaling New Heights, is that you are going to connect with other people who do what you do, but they have a different gig than you, right? Like their jam is different than yours, and it's good to know, because even though you don't get the client, you are still going to be the hero if you tell them, you know what, this is not in my wheelhouse, but I know somebody who really knows it very well. Let me connect you to them. And so you still will end up being the hero if you're able to do that. And Scaling New Heights, I think, is one of the best places to meet those people and to learn about what they do. So that's my take on it.
It's a very good point.
Nice. Well, Joe, thanks for taking the time tonight. Yeah, Dawn, you got any last words before we?
I have a whole bunch of them, Woody.
Close the show for that.
I know you're surprised by that. No, but honestly, I'm really looking forward to Scaling New Heights. I'm actually going to go to a shoe specialist to have maybe some kind of, like, I don't know if they cut you off the knees to have your feet, be able to work without you, kind of thing, because we do not sit down. Right, Joe? So we go 110%, 100 million. So I don't know what the percentage is supposed to be, 110, 150, like what's more impressive. But we really go an extra mile and a half to give people what they deserve. And I'll tell you why, because back, I know for myself, when I went to my first Scaling New Heights, I could not possibly absorb the information as quickly it was coming to me. But what it gave me, okay, here it comes, the information was not as important as the inspiration. And yes, you can use that. Okay?
I like
it. Because the information, Joe always follows up. So it's more about follow-up there. But I'll tell you what, the inspiration that you get being around other people and realizing that, there's more outside of these four walls, and the people that you can be around is really, for me, honestly, changed my life. So that would probably be the thing that I would leave this with, besides two things. Number one, I'm very thankful that Woody has an alarm, a fire alarm, to his right, my left, because I'm worried about that. In New York City, I don't think they actually have them. And the other thing is more of a suggestion, Woody, that you would maybe like use some water and comb down the top of your head before the show. And I understand. You're like this. In New York City, you slick it back and you walk back, but it's not slicking.
It was raining.
It's really buzzing.
I was the only guy who didn't have the umbrella. The only guy.
I get it. You know what? And you're not going to spend that $5. I don't care what they try to do. I'm not doing it.
It's going to be sunny tomorrow. I'm not spending the $5.
Dude, I totally get it.
You know what my thing is? It's not the $5. I'm not going to carry that back. I don't want to have to pack that
and
back and take it back.
That.
That's my thing. I don't want to have to find room in my suitcase that I meticulously packed to get 4 pairs of heels and a carry-on. I don't want to figure that out. It's not the $5. It's the, where am I going to put this? That's awesome.
Well,
I'm going to hand it off. Sorry, Joe.
To close.
No, there's nothing better at the end of a show than Woody inviting us into the end of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because we'll destroy the end of the show. I mean,
that's awesome.
Now. I don't know
well,
what
to
he's
close,
going to out from here. Give us a good segue, Woody. Do your best.
Yeah. Well, to close, I overmanaged my hair before the show. To be fair. Last night, just to let you guys know, the hotel key cards for your doors? So I came up from the pre-show meeting, and I'm trying to get my door unlocked, and it won't unlock. I keep getting the red, and I'm getting frustrated because I don't want to go all the way downstairs because the elevators are really slow in these old New York hotels. Finally, a guy opens up the door, and I'm like, oh, it's not my room. Thank you.
What's he like? Hey,
I don't know what else to
how
say.
you doing?
You know, what do you say to that? Sorry. Terrible.
Awesome.
Anyway,
I love it.
I want to thank Joe Woodard for coming on and talking City Heights and just a bunch of things. I can't wait to hear the expanded version of the your takeaways from the Disney Institute. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Dawn, thanks a lot, Stacy, and for Joe, myself. We'd like to thank you guys for listening to Radio Free QuickBooks tonight, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care. See you at Scaling New Heights, mid-June.
Peace out.
ScalingNewHeights.com.
Take care, everybody.
ScalingNewHeights.com.
Thanks, Joe.
Take care.
All right, bye, guys.
That's great, dude. It's not my room. Sorry.